way too long. Excellent. Okay, look at us. We're live. This is so much fun. Welcome to our Turnitin and Canvas tutorial. This is a recap of a session that we did, Shanae and I did, for the faculty here at NNU just a few weeks ago. We wanted to make sure that we had this available for those that were unable to attend that session. Our goal here is to just bring some information to you so that you have an opportunity to review it, and hopefully it will help alleviate some stresses in your life that may result in part due to our Turnitin integration in Canvas. That way also you can help your students as well. So if they come to you with a question about something not working right or they're not able to submit, you have kind of like that first line of defense that you can help them troubleshoot a little bit and give them some information that hopefully and quite possibly will fix or remedy the problem. And then you don't even have to worry about bringing it to us. You'll have all the miracle information right there and not have to involve us here over in instructional design and technology. However, we are available. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get started. So today we want to talk a little bit about, again, Canvas and Turnitin and some concepts about plagiarism, why we use Turnitin, some of the tenets of what it can do, not only for you as a professor, but also for your students. So the information that it generates, what it allows you to see, again, why at the university here we use it and feel like it's a great tool and a necessary tool. And then we're also going to talk about some of the problems that we've run into, either from the student aspect or from a professor point of view, and hopefully be able to alleviate and help you work through those as well. All right, let's get started. So plagiarism. Here are, again, some quick definitions of what the understanding of plagiarism is, right? So we know it. If you were to ask somebody on the street and walk by and say, hey, what's plagiarism? They're going to tell you, well, it's, we're stealing something. We're taking something from somebody else that was theirs and we're not giving them credit. Again, that third definition there is to commit literary theft. The last one is where I think we kind of get into this gray area of what plagiarism is in a classroom, and it's to present an original idea or product derived from an existing source. So what that could look like is, for example, if a student took a course previously, let's say in the summer semester they took a course, and they didn't do so well on that course, and so they retook the course in the fall semester, and for the first assignment or second assignment or whatever it would look like, they submitted the exact same assignment. So same article, same write-up, right? Whatever it was. That would, in essence, be a form of plagiarism because it is not a new or original idea. It is something that they have derived from an existing source. So in essence, they have plagiarized themselves. But I think that is a concept that a lot of people don't really understand, or we don't really talk to or talk about. We do talk about the understanding of, not giving credit where credit is due, taking somebody else's information and claiming it as your own, and going that direction. But again, that last point is something that we really wanted to bring out to make sure that students were definitely aware that even if you take a course or repeat a course, the information that you need to be submitting needs to be original. So that may mean you need to redo the assignment. That may mean that you need to repost a different answer to a discussion question. So it really is making sure that they're staying on top of what those pieces mean and what that looks like. Turnitin. So we use Turnitin as our originality checker and plagiarism prevention software. So we really found that the integration with Canvas is nice, and it works well with our faculty and our staff here. But it really is set up and designed to offer that service to help faculty manage the submissions and track them electronically to basically alleviate what could be plagiarized. So if a professor has an inclination that there is something that's being plagiarized, they have the option of using the Turnitin software to be able to upload that paper and check it against, again, Turnitin's vast array of databases and papers that it has submitted to it to see if at some point in time that information was, again, taken from somewhere and not properly cited or given credit. Again, Turnitin works like this. So basically we have an institutional license And what we do is a professor will submit or create a Dropbox. The students will submit the work to the Dropbox, right? Turnitin basically compares that information then to its, as you can see here, database of 12 billion pages of digital content, 110 million papers in their student archive, and 80,000 professional, academic, and commercial journals and publications. That's insanity. But again, it does it, and it does it in record time. So it looks pretty deep. Not only that, but it also looks back into, again, different web pages, and will actually pull out, as we'll talk about a little later, exactly where specific information was found or could have been found or borrowed from. And it's a great conversation to have with students, because just because they borrowed it from a source does not mean that that person is the original author of that material. It could be somebody else. And again, Turnitin has the ability to dig into that a little bit and find out where that information actually came from. So not only is it a great plagiarism checker tool, but it's also a great learning tool. In this survey that I'm going to use here, there's some really great information. So what the survey is about is they gathered information from a bunch of different undergraduate and graduate students over the course of a 3-year period. And it talks about academic integrity. And what they found was kind of startling. And it's startling to me as an employee that works in an institution of higher education, that some of these numbers actually exist. And I'm assuming that these people that were surveyed were being honest. But again, 36% of undergraduates and 24% of graduate students admitted to copying or paraphrasing a few sentences without actually giving credit where it was due. That's just interesting to me. But again, now another one, 14% of regular undergraduate students, 7% of graduate students admitted to fabricating or falsifying a bibliography. That's shocking. And again, working on and having multiple degrees where we had to write different papers and we had to, really spend some time really researching that's just shocking to me. And I guess it's true, but it's nevertheless still shocking. So again, you can see plagiarism is a problem, and whether it's self-identified or identified through a tool, it's definitely something that we need to help educate not only ourselves on, but our students as well.
So Turnitin and Canvas, after you've had some of those conversations with your students about what you expect from your Turnitin assignment, that's the great time to have them practice. So we're going to walk through what it looks like to create an assignment in Canvas that requires students to run their paper through Turnitin. So I'm going to add this assignment through the modules tab. You can definitely do it through the assignments tab, but I like to add it through the modules tab for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to create a new assignment. I should put a name. And you don't have to have Turnitin in the name for this, but I just created the assignment and put it in the module for me. So I'm going to edit these settings. Put in your point value like you normally would. You can add it to a particular group. I'll add it to my external tools group. This is especially important if you're using a weighted grade book. But the submission type is where you actually choose the Turnitin tool. So this is, even though students are submitting it online, this is actually an external tool. That's what Canvas is going to refer to it as. So once I select external tool, I'm going to click find. Now, something that we learned the hard way, and it's kind of annoying, is there's actually a double scroll bar in this screen. So if I scroll down here, I stop at K. But if you expand this lovely little window, you'll see that there's actually an inner scroll bar. And so that is where I will find Turnitin, and I will select that. Put in your due date. And go ahead and save, and I'm going to publish it so the students can see that. Now, once I've done the Canvas side, it takes me over to the Turnitin portion of the assignment settings. You'll see here I have this bar. Sometimes it doesn't actually show assignment inbox and settings. Sometimes it just has 3 horizontal lines on the right side. If that's the case, go ahead and click on that, and then you will have your 2 options. Those will appear. So we're going to go into Turnitin settings. And we encourage our faculty to check, verify that that is what time you want, that is when you wanted it to be visible. You'll see due date, feedback release date is at the same time. I may or may not want that. Go ahead and take that into consideration. So you can see this option, allow submission of any file type. If you click no, it will require students to upload either a Word doc or a PDF because those are both Turnitin friendly documents. Sometimes students will try to upload pages, which can cause some problems, or other file types. What we want to emphasize is the optional settings. So there are some critical pieces within this optional settings. A normal standard Canvas assignment allows late submissions, allows it multiple times. By default, Turnitin does not allow late submissions. So keep that in mind, that if you have some students who you want to allow them to turn it in late, you want it to go through Turnitin even if they submit it late, you'll want to make sure that it is selected as yes. You can limit, or you can change what the assignments are compared to. Like Jesse mentioned, there are thousands of options, I think billions of pages of of articles and student papers that Turnitin has on file and then compares it. So some people like to remove that for their particular reason. Originality report. So here are a couple things. If you do allow or want to allow resubmissions before the due date or that sort of thing, you will want to make sure to allow that, to click actually tell Turnitin that you want the student to get a report each time they submit the assignment. You can also exclude bibliographic materials. You can exclude quoted material. You can exclude small matches. If you exclude small matches, it'll ask for a number of words or a percentage of similarity. You may be surprised to know that students cannot, by default, view their originality reports. And we really encourage professors to use Turnitin as a teaching tool. As Jesse said, we think that it's much better to talk with students about what they're doing and what's wrong than just give them a grade that says, oh, you obviously didn't get this and you failed. So this is a great opportunity for student self-reflection, and this may be something that you even want to make another assignment that says, what did you learn from your originality report? You can have these papers stored, or you can have them not stored. So if you're doing a draft, especially if a student is working on a paper or project that's going to span multiple semesters, you might not want to store that because it will flag the student's paper. If, say, in the fall they submitted it for the first part of the class, and then in the spring they revised it, Turnitin's going to find that similarity and say, wait a minute, there's 75% similarity. You could see that in Turnitin that it's going to have similarity to another paper at NNU, but you could also choose to not have that first draft from a previous term stored in the repository. If a student is submitting the same paper multiple times within the same class in the same semester, that's a different story, and Turnitin won't flag it because it recognizes that this is the same student for the same class. Peer mark is an option that allows for peer editing, peer review. If I click this, it's going to give me more options, and it'll give me a set of peer mark settings. Up at the top, there will be another setting that would say, this is how I want the peer evaluations to take place. These are the criteria and that sort of thing. Rubrics are another thing that we get a lot of questions about. Canvas has rubrics, and many of you have probably used them. And we encourage you to continue using Canvas rubrics and not Turnitin rubrics. Canvas rubrics are held within Canvas, and administrators, program directors can access that, see that, and it really helps us with accreditation and reporting purposes. If you are using rubrics in Turnitin, then we don't have that same access, and we don't have a centralized pool of data to pull or create our reports from. So if you would like to use a rubric, what you actually will need to do is you'll create the assignment as an online submission. So before we add the Turnitin external tool, you'll create an online submission, put in all the information like we did when we created the basic assignment, save it, add your rubric, and then you can go back into the assignment, edit, and add that external tool. At that point, you won't be able to go back and look at the rubric because the external tool kind of covers it up until it comes time for grading, at which point you can use that for grading. You've got grammar checking option, and you have the option to save it as a default. So if you have certain features you're going to want every time, say the submissions, you always want them saved to the repository, and you always want to allow late submissions, it makes it easier next time around if you can just save those features. So we'll go ahead and submit. And now Jesse's going to be sharing what it looks like from the student perspective, and how students see Turnitin and submit it, because we've also been having a lot of problems with a lot of issues with students having difficulty submitting this semester.
Okay, so like Shanae said, Turnitin's great, lots of great features, really, really awesome tool that we like to use here at the university, and we're really wanting everybody else to use as well. But again, students have a different view. So as an instructor, you have the view of what it looks like on the dashboard, right? So the thing that Shanae was just talking about, where you have the different settings and different things like that. Well, the student view is a little different in what it is that they're going to be able to see and have the ability to interact with. So as you can see here, so this is our student view of this particular assignment. So as you can see here, we have our Turnitin assignment. So we're going to go ahead and click on that assignment. And so what it's doing now, and just to give you a brief understanding of what the back end does. So as an instructor or as a student, when you are logged into Canvas and you go into Turnitin, we have what's called single sign-on. So at that moment, all of your login credentials is automatically transposed over to Turnitin. So it automatically reads that, yes, you are a student here. You have student permissions basically at that point. And so you can access this Dropbox from this. Your account is set to you are a student. As a professor, right, that when you go and you add the tool to your assignment, it's taking it as, okay, you are the teacher of record in this class, and so you have the ability to edit and make those different tweaks to the settings of that particular Dropbox. So as you can see here, you see the assignment. All you really need to do is, as a student, and have them go in, they need to be able to see this. So they also need to know, or you need to know as well, that sometimes they need to scroll down a little bit in that window because that blue button may be hidden. So they may only get to see that really cool piece where it looks like the little tray with the dude peeking out over it. However, the submit button is right below that. So again, make sure that you let them know that they have to see the blue submit button, and an upload button is actually what it is. So you click the upload button, that's going to open up this dialog box here to, again, be able to have you input whatever it is. So you select the file that you want to upload. It's going to open up a little dialog box. Again, that's on the side over the computer over here. That'll give you, you can basically pick where you want to find that particular piece of information. And what we would be doing right now is we would have our file that we had kind of created, but we may have to just input some text to do that. So we'll just go ahead and enter some text and kind of go that direction. So also what we're going to do is perfect. Okay, so as you can see, it's there, it's ready, it's submitted, and boom. Now, here's where we get some kind of hang-ups at some point in time. Some students say, oh, okay, cool, it's submitted, I'm ready to go. And they'll click out of here, they'll go somewhere else, they'll do something else. This right here, they have to click accept submission and save for it to actually transmit that into the Dropbox. Otherwise, it stops, it discards anything that they had put in right there, and it's done at that point. Again, with the submission upload button as well, they have to get to this space. So they should be able to see their paper with the title of their paper in here with an uploaded date and timestamp that they should be able to see. Right? That is key and crucial. If a student, if a student says, oh, I submitted it, and you ask them, hey, do you have the information? Can you show me, right, the date and timestamp or what it is, or can you tell me like specifically when you uploaded it? And they say, no, I can't. 95% of the time, that's going to be wrong, because they should be able to tell you 100% when it was. Now, we have seen some glitchy, kind of weird, quirky things that have happened every once in a while where a student will submit and we can see that they've submitted and get that information, but they haven't been able to get that information. So regardless, at some point in time, either they should be able to tell you, or if it's in that 5% of weirdness, if you contact us, we should be able to tell you, right, if they've submitted or and what that looks like, and if we can see it. And then again, we have the ability to be able to go in and get that material for you and all of those things. So here also, the student has a couple of different options. Here, again, they can download that paper or that submission that they were able to have, and they can also get kind of a report of what that is going to what that's going to look like. And then again, the status, there's a status piece too, that sometimes if it's taken a minute to really figure out, like to search where all this information is, or it's really checking its sources, you might see a progression meter that's there as well, where it's going to actually show you if it's done or how much it's processed, right? Again, especially if it's a big paper. I know for dissertation work and different things like that, sometimes it takes a few moments to be able to go out and grab whatever it is that is needed. But again, you should be able to see all of that information, and students should be able to, again, download that receipt basically of what it is so that they have that information for themselves. Another thing that we have noticed as far as students are concerned is, again, sometimes students run into a few errors. And it's interesting when they do that, because what's happening here is we've noticed that, again, so you'll see this sometimes. So students have come to us and said, hey, here's what was going on. I submitted this and I went to do it, and I went to the Turnitin, the assignment, and Turnitin is giving me this error. And it's saying, hey, we can't process who you are. We don't know who you are. So you need to verify again who it is that you are. Well, what's happening here is that the single sign-on isn't necessarily able to connect to Turnitin. And a lot of that happens due to browser settings of the student or that particular person in question. So that's kind of how that works. And what that looks like is this. So 2 ways that you can help a student. The first one is to have them basically go through their browser and clear all of their cache and enable cookies. So cookies are going to allow the browser to hold in its memory that sign on or that information. And it's also Turnitin uses it. And again, and because it's single sign on, it needs that piece to be able to communicate back and forth. Whoops, excuse me. So again, if you want to enable cookies, again, and this is for Chrome, which is the majority of what gets used around here. Again, so you go to that side menu, click on the settings, the 3 little dots, and then you go to settings. And at the bottom of the page, you're going to go to advanced settings. You click privacy. You go to the cookie section, and you choose your preferred setting, which again, that's going to be enable all cookies and things like that. And then again, you want them to clear their cache. So again, that same kind of a setting. You go to the options or the menu button. You click more tools. You click clear browsing data, and then you go through and you clean out all of your cache. And we've noticed too that sometimes if a student had an account before they came to the university, that also can conflict, right? Because that could be a stored account that was then stored in their browsing history. And then this just allows good, clear, clean communication from the information in Canvas that gets transmitted to Turnitin and back again. And last but not least,
Turnitin and Reports. So we've had some faculty members come up to us and wanting help interpreting Turnitin reports and sometimes asking us what they should do about it. We are not the ones that decide what you do about that, but we can definitely help you interpret what the data is saying. And usually you would talk to your department chair or college dean to let them know of the plagiarism incident, and then that way it's on file in case it happens, if the student plagiarizes at another point in time, it's on record. So we'll go ahead and go into our grade book. So you'll see I have my 2 dummy students in here, and I have 2 different colors. So Turnitin assignments have these fun little colors next to them in the windows. And if you hover over it, it'll say that it has a Turnitin score. So I'm going to open that up, and I see that yellow is telling me that this student has 35% similarity. So if we go ahead and go into our speed grader, it opens like other assignments in speed grader open. So I still have those commenting features that Crocodot provides. And then if I'm interested in seeing that report, in the previous window, I could have clicked the 35% as well, but I'm going to click on that colored block and go find out what does that mean. There's no golden rule for how similar is too similar. Sometimes we just recommend that you go and actually look at the assignment in the similarity report to judge if it is acceptable or if it is excessive. So you'll see this number right here on the right-hand side, and it tells me that it's 35, and that is referring to the percentage. Now it's showing me a summary of the top sources, and I can go ahead and click, and it'll tell me all the places. I can scroll through the document, and you'll see areas are color coded with also a number to help those who may have color or vision impairments. And I can go even further into detail, and this is actually showing all of them. So we're seeing very small similarity percentages. So it could have been a sentence that had similar structure and wording. You can also filter, exclude sources. You can download this document. Here are some marking tools that Turnitin uses. We'd still recommend using Crocodoc's features just because that keeps it all in Canvas. And if there's ever a question in time, anyone with administrative access is able to pull that information. Whereas Turnitin, if it's stored within Turnitin, that'll be much more challenging for us to troubleshoot. And then there is also a helpful guide for how to read this even in more detail. So it's at Turnitin, and we'll include this link in the description of the video so that you can just click the link and go to Turnitin site. So Turnitin has broken down all of these, what the similarity check results look like and what it means. It's going to show you some of this. This imagery is from Turnitin.com, which everyone who has an NNU email address will have access to a Turnitin account. And if you want to learn more about that, we're happy to talk with you about that. But that's accessing Turnitin outside of Canvas. But what we want to point out is this similarity report information. So you can see we've got more colors, and then Turnitin outlines what each color means. So blue means no matching, green means matching, yellow, orange, red. In the Canvas gradebook, you may see one that is gray. If it is gray, the submission has not gone all the way through Turnitin yet. It sometimes can take a little bit of time to actually cycle through and get the similarity report. So we just recommend, if you're interested in knowing more details about this, that you take a look at the Turnitin PDF to understand exactly what you're seeing with these reports.
It's a huge resource, and again, we could spend all day just talking about the cool pieces of information that are housed within that. So here's the link that Shanae was talking about. It's right here, and again, we'll throw it up so that you guys have it. And then again, you can always email us too, and we can send it over to you as well. Or you can go to Turnitin, or you can search on Google, right? Like you just welcome to your wonderful world of accessible resources. But that is, again, that's where that guide can be found. So thank you very much. We appreciate you hanging out with us and taking the moment and opportunity for you to be able to see again what it is that we're doing. Hopefully this is, I forgot the U right there on Shanae's email. That's nnu.edu. I apologize for that. Hold on, let me fix that really quick while we're here, so that way I can put it up and it's right. Oh yeah, right, because it would totally do that to me. Okay, I'm leaving it. There it is. It's going to look a little weird and funky, but you have a DU now. So thank you so much. Again, you can email us here. You can stop by our office over here in the Learning Commons. You can email the e-learning email. You can call us. You can send us a Google message. You can get a hold of us pretty much anywhere that you want to. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Let us know if you need anything.